Welcome to Mindfulness Lists. In A New Earth, the book by Eckhart Tolle, the chapters are divided up into different sections. In my last episode, I went over the two first sections of the chapter, which were called Evocation, where Tolle spoke about humanity's first people who were waking up. And then the purpose of the book. The purpose of the book, just to recap, is to identify the ego, how it works, and the things to look for so you don't get caught up in drama and so you can grow. The third section of chapter 1 is called Our Inherited Dysfunction. So different philosophies, spiritual teachings, religions, whatever you would like to label them, they all agree on two things. And the first thing that they agree on is that the normal state of people is craziness or dysfunction. And it's apparent. I think the reason for it is people identify with their minds, obviously. We think that we are our thoughts. We think that we're our emotions. And if you have a mindfulness practice, what you realize is how crazy our thoughts are. If you just sit there for a day and you watch your mind, it'll say the most on your inner dialogue. It'll say the craziest stuff. One minute you're feeling good, you love something, and the next minute it flip-flops. In Buddhist teachings, they call that the 8 teachings or the 8 dharmas, that things change from good to bad, or I prefer the word preference rather than good and bad. We have preferences, and then these preferences change. They just flip automatically. And if you're aware enough, you can realize that it's just a natural thing. It's a condition. There's nothing a matter with you. There's nothing wrong with me. It's just the way that our minds work. But you have to be aware enough to watch it. And then when it happens, you have to be able to realize this is just a normal thing. And these thoughts, they're just like clouds in the sky. They come. Our mind is a clear sky, and then our thoughts come like little clouds. They come and they go, and they come and they go, and you just watch them, and you just treat them like a little child. You just kind of sit there and maybe take it as free entertainment, almost. Like if you've ever went to karaoke, there's some incredibly bad singers at karaoke, but you really can't pay. You can't pay for that bad of entertainment. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's like the best free comedy you'll probably ever get in your life. And we could treat our minds that way as well. Just a little kid or some really bad karaoke singer just spouting off at the mouth constantly. So back to the point. Most religions, philosophical teachings, and spiritual teachings as well agree that we are crazy, basically, at the core. I won't say it in Eckhart Tolle's words. I'll just keep it very simple. The thing that I like to do is I like to make things simple and stupid. I imagine they might be stupider than you need them. But I think with the message that I want to summarize from the different books that I review and summarize, I want these messages to be crystal clear to where my daughter could understand them. And I'm sure she could, because that's usually the people that need it are the younger people. Once you start to get older, you figure out by shooting yourself in the foot several times, as I have over the course of about 50 years. But if we could teach our younger generation to watch out for these pitfalls and to know what to look for, it'll save so much time and so much suffering. So that's my aim. We're all at different points in our life, so this may be helpful to some people, and this might be just completely useless to some people. But I want to make this crystal clear and simple and stupid. Okay, so that's the point of our inherited Dysfunction is the name of this section of the chapter. And you can see if you just look at history as a whole, what's gone on in history? A lot of war has gone over. War, and where does that come from? It probably, two very clear things that I could see where war comes from is probably just people getting in disagreements, and disagreements over our thoughts, our beliefs, just saying, nah, it's this way. This is the way it's supposed to be. And people being so identified with their minds that they need to kill each other over it. The other place that it comes from is probably religion. And I don't think either one is worse than another, but probably just people arguing and people killing each other over different belief systems. My God's the real God. No, my God's the real God. Whatever it is, I don't even want to give energy to it because it's there. Anybody could clearly see that a lot of people have died over this stuff. So Eckhart Tolle talks about the conditions that cause these wars and what causes it. Fear, greed, the desire for power. Those are the psychological motivating forces of war and fights. But more so, what is at the root of that? What is at the true root of that? The root of that fear, the greed, the desire, it's the ego. And as I reiterated in the first podcast, that the ego is a identification with form, thought forms, emotional forms, probably our senses as well, beliefs. You're a man, you're a woman, you're a parent, you're a uncle, you're a worker, roles that we play, all that different stuff. Anything that we identify with, we could get lost in that stuff. And that's the foundation of that insanity. And, back to the point. The first thing, we're crazy. The second thing that all religions and philosophies and spiritual teachings agree on is that there's a way out of it, that we can get enlightened. Different religions call it different things. I don't even want to bring it up. Just being enlightened, I don't know what to call it. I guess I have to use those words because I can't come up with better words for myself. Consciousness, awareness, enlightenment, salvation, whatever you want to call it. It's just being aware of awareness is basically our way out. It's very simple. But what it does take is it takes focus. It takes definitely focus. I would go over some of the ways that Buddhists explain how to find enlightenment, but the list is too long. Although I do like the list, I just don't want to confuse you guys. But two of the things that they have at the end of the list of the Eightfold Path are let's see, I can't recall them right off of the top of my head. I use what's it called? Jeez. I use the word U-Isa Lemk to remember the Eightfold Path, and what it stands for is beneficial understanding, beneficial intention, beneficial speech, beneficial action, beneficial livelihood, beneficial effort, beneficial mindfulness, that's the one I was looking for, and beneficial concentration. Mindfulness and concentration. So those two of those things, I didn't want to name off those 8, but I couldn't remember it. I apologize. I couldn't remember it without going through that list of those 8 things, the Eightfold Path. So mindfulness and concentration. Meditate. You need to meditate. What happens as we get older is there's an area in the front of our brain, the cerebral cortex. It starts to get thinner as we get older. I think mine was thin when I was young anyways. I need to focus. Maybe certain people, I don't know. I don't really believe in ADHD or ADD. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I think that it's all a big conspiracy to sell medicine. You need what researchers have found out is through meditation that it strengthens that part of your brain. And as you get older, you don't get less sharp. You don't get stupider. You stay the same, or you could build it up. So meditation, you have to meditate. What's meditation? Being aware of awareness. So that's the third section of the first chapter. We'll leave it off there, and I will see you next time. Eventually, time is an angel or devil, best friend or worst enemy, great joy, harsh wrath, burn.